I've spent my life gazing into the night sky, wondering what quiet intelligence lingers in the stars. Each constellation, they say, was once alive, not a myth, but a legacy carved into the cosmos. Over time, their shapes shifted before my eyes, the tension in Orion's bow, the silent grief in Andromeda's chains, the quiet elegance threaded through Lyra's song. They revealed themselves not as distant lights, but as souls who loved, feared, and fought to endure. Every pulse of their radiance became a heartbeat, every flicker a memory insisting on being heard. From the velvet dark, a single star steps forward, Perseus, the hero of light, his story ready to shine. So listen closely, because this isn't just lore etched across the heavens. This is the narrative they entrusted me, and now I trust you with it. Born of mortal courage and divine destiny, Perseus was never meant to fade into legend. He was meant to rise into eternity. His journey began not in the halls of Olympus, but under the shadow of a prophecy that promised his birth would spell the doom of a king. Cast out to sea, a babe in a wooden chest with his mother, Danae, he was a child of chance, protected only by the will of the gods who saw in him a spark of greatness. The waves that should have claimed him instead carried him to the shores of Seriphos, where a fisherman's kindness gave him a home, and the sea's vast horizon taught him to dream. He was a boy raised in humility, unaware of the golden blood of Zeus that flowed through his veins, his only inheritance a fierce love for the mother who had sacrificed everything for him. As Perseus grew, so did the shadow of tyranny. King Polydax, ruler of the island, desired Danae and saw the boy as an obstacle. To remove him, the king devised a seemingly impossible quest: to bring back the head of Medusa, the gorgon whose gaze turned men to stone. It was a death sentence disguised as a heroic challenge, yet where a king saw a pawn, the god saw a champion. Athena, the goddess of wisdom, and Hermes, the messenger god, came to him not as deities demanding worship, but as guides offering aid. They armed him not just with weapons, but with purpose. He received a mirrored shield, polished to a divine sheen, not to reflect his own glory, but the horror he must face without looking it in the eye. Hermes gave him winged sandals, not to flee from danger, but to navigate the treacherous paths to his destiny. From the Stygian nymphs, he was gifted the cap of invisibility and a magical wallet, the kibises, to safely contain the monstrous prize. His journey took him to the edge of the known world, a land shrouded in perpetual twilight where the three ancient sisters who shared a single eye and tooth guarded the path to the Gorgons. Through cunning rather than force, Perseus seized their eye, compelling them to reveal the way. He found Medusa not in a fortress, but in a desolate garden of stone statues, the petrified forms of warriors and heroes who had come before him, their silent screams a testament to her power. Medusa herself was a tragic figure, her serpentine hair writhing with a life of its own, her eyes filled with accursed venom. Using the reflection in Athena's shield to guide his hand, Perseus approached the sleeping monster. He was not driven by hatred, but by the quiet resolve to protect his mother, to end a reign of terror. The strike of his adamantine sword was swift, a merciful end to a cursed existence. From the Gorgon's neck sprang forth the winged horse Pegasus, a creature of pure light born from the darkness he had just conquered. Perseus, now a hero marked by this grim victory, began his flight homeward. He carried the head of Medusa, a weapon of immense power, concealed within his satchel. His path led him over the sun-scorched lands of Ethiopia, where he witnessed another injustice. Chained to a seaside cliff was Princess Andromeda, a sacrifice to Cetus, a monstrous beast of the deep, to atone for her mother's vanity. Perseus, seeing her terror, did not hesitate. Descending from the sky like a falling star, he battled the colossal sea creature. He was a figure of breathtaking grace and power, his body lean and strong from his trials, his eyes sharp with focus, his winged sandals beating against the air. He was a warrior of light against a creature of the abyss. After a ferocious struggle, he revealed the head of Medusa, and the great beast, caught in her stony gaze, was turned to an inert mountain in the raging sea. He freed Andromeda, and in her grateful eyes, he found not just a princess to be rescued, but a partner, a love that would define the rest of his mortal days. Returning to Seriphos, he found his mother had taken refuge from King Polydec's relentless pursuit. The king and his courtiers, mocking the hero's return and disbelieving his success, demanded to see the prize. With a heavy heart, Perseus unveiled the Gorgon's head one last time. The arrogant laughter in the hall turned to silent, everlasting stone. He had fulfilled his quest not for glory but for justice. He placed the fisherman who had saved him upon the throne, restoring balance to the island before returning the divine artifacts to the gods, his quest complete. He and Andromeda founded a kingdom and a dynasty, ruling with the wisdom and compassion he had learned on his journey. His was a life defined not by the monsters he slew, but by the people he saved. When his mortal heart ceased to beat, the heavens claimed him, not as a warrior, but as a beacon. Now, his armor gleams with the memory of every victory that brought light to darkness. His sword no longer strikes, it illuminates. Perseus walks among the stars as a reminder that true strength is not the power to destroy, but the courage to protect. Every star in his constellation burns for those who still dare to fight for the light within themselves. And like a fading memory, their presence lingers, a heartbeat in the dark, a whisper carried by the wind. Every star you meet holds a life, a story, a voice, and though this chapter closes, their light continues on, waiting for the next soul who dares to listen. Now the journey passes to you. Carry their glow, their secrets, their echoes. If their legends touched your spirit, join me among these celestial tales. Subscribe, share your thoughts below, and let me know which constellation called to you. Your voice helps these stories burn brighter. Until our next crossing beneath the endless sky, walk boldly, wanderer, for in this realm between stars and stories, you are always welcome.